Hello everybody, my name's Nicola and welcome back to my channel. This is the Frugal Cottage where we talk all things money to help you on your financial journey. Today's video is my September 2025 dividend income update, so don't forget to like and subscribe and let's get started. So if you're new here, welcome to my channel. I share these as part of my investment journey. This used to be part of my early retirement goals and now my dividend income is purely to support my pension. So yeah, I share this with everybody for two reasons. First of all, to help you, inspire you to do your own investment journey, and to second of all, I quite like it to have these to look back on to see my own journey. Now, it did take a bit of a backseat, but we are slowly getting back on track with this, and yeah, it's always interesting to look back and see the numbers grow as well, because some months are really good, some months are really, well, not good, and then, you know, it is definitely a journey in that respect. Before I get started, none of this is financial advice. This is just me sharing my journey with you. You need to do your own research into what you invest in. And I have all my investments within a stocks and shares ISA with Harvey's Lansdowne. I'll leave a link below to that if you want to check them out, because I recommend them as a platform. That being said, let's get into the video. There wasn't anything for July and there wasn't anything for August at all, so we're back for September. So that's why there hasn't been a video in those 2 months for this. So yeah, so let's get started. So the first one to talk about in September was Aberdeen Group. I used to have quite a big holding in this and then sold it. So if you're new here, I had to sell quite a lot of my investments, and I am now rebuilding that portfolio very slowly again. And Aberdeen Group were one of the ones that I had to sell, and now fairly recently I have been able to add them back into my portfolio. Nowhere near as big a holding as before, but obviously that will grow with time, or hopefully grow with time. But Aberdeen Group paid out a total of £12.48. Now bearing in mind July and August were both zero, even with this first one kind of shown there, it is better than it has been for the past 2 months. So always a great start to proceedings, but yeah, so £12.48 in that so far. The second one to pay out was HSBC. Now, I've had these quite a while. They are one of the most volatile holdings I have. They fluctuate massively all the time, and I don't have very many shares in these, very little, as you'll see reflected in the dividend payment. But this is one that goes up and down quite a lot, considering I don't have very many. It is a noticeable one. I think banks tend to do that more often maybe than other sectors, but this is the only banking stock I hold. I did used to have Lloyds in there, but I don't anymore. But the dividend payment from HSBC is a teeny tiny £1.25, and again that's reflected on how many shares I have. So I don't even know whether to add any more of this. I feel like the up and downness of it, I don't know. It's in there, and I do watch the price a bit, but at the moment it's not one that I particularly want to add to. The next thing that paid out is Legal and General Group. Now, I've had these in my portfolio for a long time, and when I had to sell everything, or most of it, this was one of the ones that I held on to. It's quite a large holding, as you'll see reflected in the dividend price, and I bought them at quite a good price when I did buy them in the first place. So in terms of kind of stocks in my portfolio, these are the ones. This is the biggest holding I have, and also it's one of the ones that I kind of wanted to keep. I invest for the income and always have done, and I think that in terms of longevity, I think that this is one of the ones that I will probably keep for a while unless something particularly goes wrong with these. And whenever I talk about investments and the fact that I am an income investor, and this will come more apparent in the fund that's paid out as well, I invest for the income, and so that's what I'm looking at for these. And Legal and General has been in my portfolio for a long time, and they paid out £67.32. So you can see the numbers there are much better, and it does, the more you hold in something, the more it pays out. If you were looking at dividends, that is, in that sense, it's very basic maths. But that's a fantastic number, and if I could get every single holding in my portfolio to pay out that every time, then I would be really kind of getting into some good numbers. The next one is SSE. Now, I had a bigger hold in this, but I sold most of these, and I have not. They're quite expensive as a share, individual share. I haven't bought any more of these in a long time. They do pay out quite a good dividend though. But again, so it's something that I've held for a long time, and I've sold most of them. I've kind of kept a few back, and they paid out £27.95 in September. So you can see there that the numbers are looking really good already before I add my final one. And the final one here is the only fund that paid out in September. That's the Vanguard FTSE 100 Index income version. So when I talk about investing for income, these funds, you can either have the income version or the accumulation version. I picked the income version because that's the thing I'm focusing on. However, not only does it pay me a dividend, the fund price has gone up as well. So I do get an increase. In fact, in all of them, the share price on the whole goes up over time. So although I'm getting income and I'm focused on investing for that dividend income, I do also get the growth. So if I sold it, I would get some kind of gains on that as well. Like one of my holdings, BAE Systems as a holding, has gone up massively since I bought it. So not only do they pay out a really good dividend income, but I've also, it's over 100% up since I bought it. So although I do focus primarily on that income, and one of my main aims at the moment is to average £100 a month, because there are some months that are zero and some months, as you can tell, are much more, and it would be nice to even that out. But I do get the growth, but maybe at a slower rate than if you did accumulation funds. But the final thing that paid out in this month for me was this, and it paid out £19.92. This used to be a much bigger payer. Again, had to sell most of it, and I'm slowly building my holding back up in that. But for September 2025, I got £128.92. And if I think of that in terms of bills, because eventually that's what it will go towards paying, that would pay my water rates, my mobile phone bill, and have spare to go towards either another bill or the food shop or whatever. So in terms of that, that's absolutely fantastic. I'm now going to share with you the visual representation for what this looks like over the year so far, and then the numbers as we go forward into the final quarter of 2025. If you're not new here, you'll know that I use kind of visual things all the time, my no spend day tracker being a really good example of that. However, this is what it looks like for the year so far, and you can see by this graph the massive differences in terms of consistency of payouts during the year. So January was £3.96, February was then £20, there was nothing in March, April was £4, then it jumps up to £246 for May, £220 for June, then nothing for July and August, and then £128 for September. It varies massively, and as an ideal, it would all be a really consistent level. Imagine if they were all at this level every month. I mean, I guess that's an aim. The first aim is to get it over £100 as an average. But the long-term aim, the really long-term aim, is to get £1,000 a month in dividend income, and then that will be a real help to just general everyday life and pensions and all of that stuff. But that's what the visual representation looked like. I wonder what October, November and December will bring. At the moment, I don't think there's anything that pays out in November either. So I think that might be empty as well. But October definitely does, and December definitely does. So we'll see what that looks like at the end of the year in terms of that. I'm going to finally share the numbers with you, and then, that's it for my dividend income. But these are the numbers as it's looking at the moment. So the final thing on the spreadsheet is to share with you this. These are the numbers as it's looking overall so far. So I've kind of gone through them all. So July I put in £100, August I put in £100. No spend September went really well for me. I shared my numbers, my budget and everything with me. I think it went really well, and I managed to put £200 in my investment ISA in September, which is the biggest I've done in ages, and again £128.92. So at the moment, the total for 2025 so far stands at £625.02 of dividend income received, and I've managed to put £1,000 in. First of all, I'm really happy that I've hit the £1,000 mark, because that's quite a milestone for me in the recent years. But also, I would love to get it. My secret aim, hope for this is that this would also be £1,000 by the end of the year. Now, bear in mind, I've only got 2 months left of the year. Unless something magic happens, I feel like that's probably not going to happen now. Last year ended up being £840 received as a total for the year, so I'm hoping it should be more than that. Whether I hit that £1,000 mark, It feels very doubtful at this point. But I'm really happy with those numbers so far. I'm really happy that I've managed to hit the £1,000 of my own cash invested. That's quite, if you follow me for a while, that's quite a milestone in itself, bearing in mind what the previous couple of years have been like. And yeah, so that is my September 2025 dividend income update for you. And let's just see what the next 3 months bring of the year. I can't believe we're into the final months of 2025. Have you had any dividend income for September? What did you get? How much did you get? I love reading about things. I love reading about people's journeys of dividends. I started after being inspired by somebody else online. I think that it's a really good kind of, I guess, motivator for the fact that if they can do it, so can I. And I'm hoping that that comes across as this. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, because it really helps the channel out. And I will see you again in another video very soon.